How y'all doing? So in today's video, we are going to be talking about our 6-week carnivore anniversary. We just hit it, big milestone. And we're just going to be talking about being carnivore with a big family.
Yes. So we're going to jump into it. We're going to be talking about all of the details of it, the ups and downs, when you're traveling with a big family, when you have little ones and you're switching over to a carnivore lifestyle, when you have big ones and you're switching over to a carnivore lifestyle, bringing everybody along for the ride, and just sharing with y'all how it's been for the last 6 weeks. And just kind of giving you some ideas of some logistics and all of that. So before we get started and jump into it.
So before we get started today, y'all, we just wanted to say a big thank you to all of our customers that have went over to TheTexasBoys.com and have purchased something over there. We have been getting lots of orders lately, and just a big thank you to all y'all that have purchased. And also another big thank you to everyone that has either bought a whole cow, half a cow, a whole pig, half a pig. We successfully did that this month, and everybody has their meat, and it's really exciting. And we have pre-orders available on TheTexasBoys.com. So if you want some unvaccinated, grass-fed, grass-finished beef or pork, you can head on over to TheTexasBoys.com. Also, for TheTexasBoys.com, all of the products over there give us 1 to 2 weeks to fulfill your order, because just nowadays
we're overwhelmed.
We're overwhelmed with
orders.
shipping and everything like that. It's always kind of tricky.
Yeah.
And with doing the whole carnivore thing and then running several other businesses, it gets pretty crazy. But over there on TheTexasBoys.com, we have CBD coffee, lion's mane coffee, unvaccinated honey, and it is unpasteurized too, so it has all the good vitamins and minerals in there. And also the CBD coffee and the lion's mane coffee are super organic also. And then we have our own normal coffee line, and we just came out with blueberry cinnamon coffee, and it's really good, y'all. So anyway, without further ado, let's jump on into the video.
Let's jump into it. So I think we have to back up and start from the beginning, 6 weeks ago. So 6 weeks ago today, it's kind of crazy. I made the decision that I was going to go carnivore. And my decision making wasn't based on health or nutrition or anything like that. There was no medical need to do it. But my decision was just simply based on the fact that we are a farm and we raise a lot of our own beef. And we also know a family that raises good, healthy pork. And I thought, you know what? I think we could do this. And we have been struggling along, limping along for 8 years now here on this farm. We've been in Texas 9 years, but we have been, even prior to that, ever since Matt was a baby, we have been preppers. We have been buying 50-pound bags of everything. Matt grew up helping mom lift bags and put it into containers. And that was just his life, and was all of my first 3 boys. It was their life. It was how they grew up, was we buy in bulk and we eat whole foods, and that's just how we manage. Little by little, we have narrowed that window thanks to my scare with cancer 4 years ago. We ended up going dairy-free, gluten-free. We did kind of like a vegan, but very much so a vegan lifestyle for several years, plant-based, and then whole foods plant-based. And we could never get a handle on sustainability. Like we were like circling it for years, but here on the farm, we've tried gardens year after year after year. We grow food, we preserve food, we can it, we put it away. It's intense. It's a lot of work. And we've never reached a point where we felt like, wow, we could thrive. Like we could really have enough food on our farm, produced here on our land, that we could thrive. And when hearing these different people with carnivore, just testimonies of people, friends and things like that. And they were doing really well on it. And I thought, you know what? The grocery stores have all gone woke anyway. I really don't feel like in my conscience that I can continue to just dump so much money to them
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'll never go to the grocery store again, but I'm
We
just
still
saying,
do
right, but I'm just
once
saying
in a while.
as a whole, I don't want to just be giving them like
Correct.
all of our money, you know? So I just, yeah, that was kind of where I was at. Like, we have meat, we can source more meat. Why don't we just do this thing and jump into it? So we did. And the first week, do you remember what our carnivore kind of looked like the first week?
It was pretty rough. Normally how mom likes to do stuff is very extreme. So it was like once she made up her mind that she was going carnivore, the whole family was going carnivore pretty much.
Well, I
So
make the food, so
yeah. So anyway, so the first week was kind of rough. I would say that because it was just like, here's ground beef. This is what we're eating tonight.
yeah.
So, and everybody was like, what are you doing? Like, you
Yeah.
have to explain, like, what are you doing to us right now?
Yeah.
So, and then she started explaining this whole carnivore thing. And it took us a couple weeks and me a couple weeks to wrap my head around the whole deal and
Sure.
listen to some interviews and stuff because I've heard about it for several years and just never really totally thought too hard about it. Never did my own research on it. Also, for anybody looking at carnivore, just do your own research. Don't listen to people.
Right.
All the folklore and everything. Don't listen to those people. Do your own research. Don't listen to us. Don't take our word for it. Go do your own research. Highly recommend that. What's the one doctor that you listen to? He's a really good one.
Dr. Barry.
Dr. Barry
is one doctor.
Is that his YouTube channel
yeah.
name?
Yeah, you can look up Dr. Barry Carnivore. There's a ton of doctors out there in the carnivore field to listen to.
The other one is that Homestead How too?
Homestead How, if you just want like the nitty-gritty just of somebody who's not a doctor, who's just kind of taken this carnivore thing by the horns and done it for health reasons. He did it for health reasons. He is just doing, Carrie over there at Homestead How is doing amazing. And his family is coming on board now, and his family is getting a lot of benefits from it. And he is a homestead channel, and he's coming at it now, kind of, I think, really starting to look at the sustainability of it. And also check him out because they do lives every week. It's very interactive and fun. And they're doing a carnivore documentary as well. It's coming up. So that's really cool.
That's awesome.
So our first week to week and a half, I think about a week though, we had baskets full of fresh fruit in our kitchen. So because I did this like totally cold turkey, like we just like, we're going carnivore, jump in the deep end. So because I did that and I had baskets of fruit in my kitchen, I wasn't going to throw the fruit away. Yeah. So we just ate from that. And I think that mentally that gave me and the kids some time to kind of grapple with the idea and wrap our mind around it. So even though we were eating meat for breakfast and meat for dinner, we still had some time to wrap our minds around this new idea. And I enjoyed every single grapefruit. I'm going to tell you, like, I was so sad eating every grapefruit because I was like, how can I live without my grapefruits? Like, I need 1 or 5 of these things a day to survive. Like, and why didn't we move to, like, you know, Panama where I could grow grapefruits in my backyard? Like, why did we live here? Yeah. Like, then I could like argue that they're sustainable, you know? So anyway, we went through that, the grief of losing the baskets of fruit. And then once that was all gone, we were down to just frozen strawberries and frozen blueberries. And the kids and I continued into the second week to have, we had meat for breakfast, we had sausage and eggs. And then for our lunch, we would have a smoothie, which was just berries, either frozen blueberries or frozen strawberries, and a scoop of our plant-based protein powder. That's very clean and healthy, but it's plant-based. It's just all the plants. And so we did that for the second week. Into the second week. Okay. So we say it's our 6-week anniversary, but really it's like our 4 week. carnivore anniversary.
Mhm.
So, but it was like a weaning process. And
Yeah.
for us, I think that really gave everybody time and grace to like start to wrap our minds around it. So into the third week got really interesting because we went on vacation.
Yeah.
So that was like, okay, here's the curveball. 8 people on vacation, and we just like committed to this thing. So
Yeah.
how is this going to be? And do you want to talk about that a little bit, or you want me to talk and you interject?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
There you go.
So yeah, so we were going about 5.5 hours away, and I was like, okay, so all of my normal planning, like I have
Mhm.
notes and lists of notes for vacation with family. So I know like Airbnb, like the grocery list, I have everything standardized. So it's all plug and play. But now my cart's been tipped upside down. So I'm like, okay, how is this going to be? So we just got in the car and we just drove
Mm.
as long as possible until we stopped and we got some barbecue, which hamburgers would have worked and probably been a whole lot cheaper.
Yeah.
But we stopped and we just got barbecue. A couple of my people had barbecue sandwiches, and then the other half of my people just had barbecue
Barbecue.
just in a little container, just barbecue.
And then halfway down, we actually rediscovered jerky again because we were like,
oh yeah.
oh yeah, that's actually like we knew there's jerky, but for road trips, certain things like just aren't in your
Yeah.
mind until you pass by
Sure.
them in the grocery store and you're like, oh, that's right. Yeah, there's jerky actually.
Jerky's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, that worked out really
Super
good too.
expensive, but awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. So some of my people had that just to munch on the way, but
Yeah.
really we weren't hungry because we had like loaded up before we left with eggs and sausage. We had like a huge breakfast. I think it was
Correct.
bacon and eggs and sausage. Like we had a giant breakfast.
We had it all packed, and then when we got there, we're like, we left it all at the house.
Oh, you're
So
ruining it. You're ruining it. Okay, yeah. So then, yeah. So I did plan a little bit. I was thinking, okay, well, we have all of our own meat, so that's silly to like go down there and then have to go to the
Mhm.
grocery store and buy meat. I packed all of the meat for the whole entire week, and then I left it in our freezer at home. Praise the Lord, it was in the
Yeah,
freezer
that's
and it
true.
wasn't like on the kitchen table. But we didn't realize that until we actually got there that evening and we were unloading the minivan. And I'm
We're
like,
like, where's the meat?
where's the meat? We packed all of the meat for the week
Mm.
and it was not there. So thankfully, I remembered that it was in the freezer at home. So it wasn't going to go bad. So it was no big deal. We just kind of shifted gears and we had already had the barbecue. We had the barbecue.
We already had the barbecue, so then we ran out to town again,
Mm-hmm.
and we loaded up on beef, ground beef, and bacon and sausage too.
Lots
Yep,
of
lots of
sausage.
sauce.
Like
Yep, lots
sausage
and lots.
in like
Oh yeah, and eggs too.
and eggs
Yep.
and like these links of
Mhm.
sausage. Oh, they were so good. We did pack eggs, but we bought more eggs
We had
too.
to because we were burning through them so quickly. So
Yeah.
we did a lot of breakfast meals,
Mhm.
breakfast for dinner, different things like that. But instead of having like potatoes or toast or anything with
Sure.
them, it was just like bacon, eggs, sausage.
Yeah, and it was
You
like
know,
these
and they
sausage
were really, it
links.
was
They
really
were
good.
so good. Yeah. So it really ended up being our most inexpensive
Mhm.
vacation food wise ever, I would say,
Yeah.
because normally when we go on vacation, we try to like treat ourselves, we try to make
Mhm.
it special. So, even though we're eating whole foods, we're still like, well, let's get the ingredients to make some desserts and
Mhm.
let's get
Mhm.
some like all the ingredients to make
Yep.
some pizzas and let's like go all out and get all of these things and hot chocolate and all of that. So really our only treat that week was still the smoothies. So we had
True.
frozen strawberries and frozen blueberries,
Mhm.
and we brought the protein powder down with us,
Correct.
which just adds a little sweetness to it. And the kids still enjoyed that maybe once a day. I can't really remember at that point. If it
Yeah.
was like every other day, or maybe just making like a little one in the evenings
Yeah.
at that point. Like
For like a dessert
it kind of turned
Yeah.
in from like drinking smoothies like this size, like
to
16
just
ounce.
like
to like, okay, I can have a little bit, or I can make it really, really thick, eat it with a spoon,
Mhm.
and then it's like ice cream. And which ice cream's okay on carnivore, by the way, but especially homemade ice cream with not all the nasties in it, which we got to incorporate. We got to start making more ice cream, because I think that two things that could take our carnivore experience to the next level is one, butter, and
Yeah.
two, ice cream. And there's another doctor that I was listening to, and he does the beef, butter, bacon, eggs, and ice cream, limited, but ice cream. And
Yeah.
he has his recipe for it. And it is just so simple. It's
Yeah.
like eggs, cream, and a little bit of sugar if you want to, and vanilla. And
Yeah.
then you can just make it. And it's just,
Yeah.
that
If
would
you
be
have
awesome.
real milk, it's really nice. So if we were going to include butter, I would definitely say we would want to
Go
to the dairy and either pick up our own cream or buy butter there.
Yeah.
Their butter is normally really expensive, but I would just pick up the cream, and you could do multi-purpose, because you could buy the milk there, like the whole milk, and it already has the cream on it. Skim the cream off or whatever. But that's what I would do, because the butter at the grocery stores is really highly processed. And it's whatever. I know a lot of these carnivore guys, they kind of glance over a lot of this stuff. And we've been doing a lot of research into this. A lot of the carnivore guys are like, you can buy your meat at the grocery store. It's perfectly fine. But then there's certain carnivore doctors that are looking into this, and they're like, look, all the vaccines that are given to these cows, the grain, different things like that, grain finished, it's really not the best for you, because all of those things are getting stored up in the meat and in the fats, and then you're eating it. So it's, is it going to be the most incredibly tasting beef in the world, grass-fed, grass-finished? No, of course not. You're going to have to learn how to cook it. You're not going to be able to put it on a cast iron griddle and just go done, here you go. It's super, super tender. No, you might have to learn some different techniques, like sous vide or sous vide, however you want to say that, and different things like that, putting it in a brine overnight, letting it loosen up, aging it in your refrigerator. I've seen that too. So what we are actually doing is, because we raise longhorns, and they are not, we've kind of acquired the taste for longhorn beef over the 8 years of eating it down here in Texas, and you cannot beat grass-fed, grass-raised beef. And that was, we bought it from our neighbor right across the street, and it was the biggest blessing in the world. So we never had to buy meat from the grocery store. So anyway, the only thing about the longhorn is that it is a leaner beef, and being 100% and being carnivore, you need your fats to survive. So leaner beef is not necessarily, it's not good for you as much. So anyway, we've been adding like bacon grease and different things like that into our beef to enhance the fat. But what we are going to be doing, it's actually happening today. We are selling Johnny Cash, our Longhorn bull, and swapping him out with a low line Hereford. So, and the Herefords, you can Google them up right now, look up a photo of them. They are beefy beef cows. So we are not going to be getting rid of the Longhorn moms, because I love how low maintenance they are. I love what they look like. They're as tough as nails. You can feed them little bits of hay throughout the winter. They can get super scrawny and skinny if need be, which we needed that to happen. Actually, the last drought that we had, that was like 8 months long or more. And we had to ration out the hay and different things like that. And none of them died. They gave birth really skinny. So that's why I love the Longhorns. That's why I don't want to get rid of them. But we're going to get a low line Hereford sire, and hopefully that will beef them up. I'm thinking it is. So 50-50 Hereford Longhorn cross. We've been doing a lot of research. There's people that will attest by that. And so we're really exciting. That's happening. That's all happening today. Right after this stream, right after this video. So anyway, really, really exciting. We've had some feedback from our beef customers, and they're like, well, they tried out our Longhorn, and they're like, it's definitely leaner than store-bought ground beef. And
Sure.
we're like, of
Yeah.
course.
So we're trying to make some accommodations
Correct.
without going down the grain finish route, because all of these doctors are coming together and
Mhm.
saying that grass fed, grass finished is the healthiest by far,
Correct.
nutrient dense. The omegas and all of the things, all of the nutrients, you can go and listen to all these
Mhm.
doctors. They're way smarter than me. It's actually, there is a difference in the
Yep.
meat. It's just not, oh, that tastes better, that's more tender, that's got more fat to it. No, it's actually a science that there is more to be offered by the grass finished beef. And then also you're not getting all the chemicals.
I mean, a Snickers bar tastes good. So there you go. I mean,
True.
like, if you're
That's
going
true.
by taste, I
That's
mean,
true.
that's kind of
So I kind of want
whatever.
to part ways and go a
Yeah,
little
sure.
bit on talking about carnivore with a big